Elderly woman spent her last $10 helping biker. Next day, 50 riders brought a life-changing gift when 78-year-old Martha saw a tattooed biker stranded by the road. Most people drove past. But she stopped. Her old car barely ran, and her wallet carried only $10, her last bit of money. Still, she pressed the bill into the biker's hand, saying softly, "You look like you need it more than me." The biker, a towering man named Jake, didn't know what to say. He'd been judged his whole life, by his looks, his leather jacket, and his rough voice. But this fragile woman's kindness cut deeper than any words. The next day, rumbling engines echoed down Martha's street. 50 bikers, led by Jake, arrived with something that would change her life forever. This is the heartwarming story of how one small act of compassion turned into a miracle no one in town would ever forget. Martha Thompson lived alone in a fading house at the edge of town. Her husband had passed 10 years ago, her children had moved away, and her pension barely covered rent and medicine. Yet despite having little, Martha carried a heart full of kindness. She believed the world could still be gentle, even when life wasn't. That chilly autumn morning, she was returning from the grocery store, counting the few coins left in her purse. On the roadside, she noticed a man crouched next to a broken motorcycle. He looked rough, leather jacket, long beard, tattoos running down his arms. Most people would have avoided him, but Martha slowed down and rolled down her window. "Need help, son?" she asked. The biker looked up, surprised. "Ma'am, I'm fine. Just ran out of gas. I'll figure it out." Martha noticed the exhaustion in his eyes. Without thinking twice, she took the last $10 bill from her wallet. "Here," she said gently. "It's not much, but maybe it'll get you home." Jake hesitated. "Ma'am, I can't take your money." Martha smiled. "It's not about money, son. It's about hope." He reluctantly accepted it, promising to pay her back somehow. She waved and drove away, not expecting anything in return. For her, kindness wasn't a trade, it was a way of living. That night, Martha warmed a can of soup for dinner, whispering a quiet prayer. She didn't know that across town, Jake was sitting in a biker bar, telling his crew about the angel who gave him her last dollar. And that was the moment everything began to change. Subscribe, share, like, comment. Heart Talk Stories. Jake had always been a man of the road, tough, proud, and fiercely loyal to his biker brothers. But that old woman's kindness shook something inside him. For the first time in years, he felt seen, not as a biker, but as a man. The next morning, Jake gathered his motorcycle club, the Iron Wolves, and told them about Martha. "She gave me her last $10, he said, voice cracking. "We ride for causes all the time, but this is personal." The club agreed without hesitation. They decided to find Martha and give her something she'd never forget. Jake called local shops, asked around, and by the afternoon, he found her address, an old, run-down home on Willow Street. They started a fundraiser among bikers across the county. Within hours, word spread on social media: "Help the grandma who helped a biker." Donations poured in, groceries, cash, furniture, even a new heating system for her home. That night, Jake stood beside his bike, watching the growing pile of gifts. "Tomorrow," he said, "we ride for her." The next morning, Martha woke up to the sound of thunder, but it wasn't a storm. It was 50 motorcycles roaring down her quiet street. Neighbors peeked through curtains as the bikers lined up in front of her house. Jake stepped forward, holding a bouquet of flowers and a smile that could melt steel. "Ma'am," he said, "you helped a stranger with your last $10. Today, that stranger brought his family to return the favor." Tears welled up in Martha's eyes as she stepped onto her porch. She watched as the bikers unloaded boxes, food, medicine, clothes, a new stove, and even an envelope filled with donations. Then, Jake handed her a set of keys. "It's yours," he said, pointing to a brand new car parked in her driveway. "Now you'll never have to worry about breaking down again." Martha covered her mouth, overwhelmed. "I don't deserve this," she whispered. Jake knelt before her. "You gave hope when you had nothing, ma'am. That makes you richer than any of us." The bikers revved their engines, filling the air with cheers and emotion. For the first time in years, Martha laughed, not the quiet kind, but one full of joy and disbelief. As they rode away, she stood on her porch, clutching her new car keys and smiling through tears. A single act of kindness had created a ripple strong enough to move 50 hearts, and change one life forever.